we're going to do today, we're going to have a look at pretty much some features in the system. It's just getting you familiar with what everything is in here. So the first thing I want to start with will be your email footer. I think that's an easy one and fun one to start with, so you can have a look at how you can kind of format it and edit it. So REGIS has several system-generated emails. They've been designed to display email footers of the user who's creating the decision. So that could be someone in your office, it could be you. So you'll notice that when you do start to use the system. We'll see that as well when we start the sessions moving forward. They're more interactive. You'll see when you're creating a decision, it actually pulls your footer into the email in certain scenarios. So really nice and easy. Everyone should have the same setup as me. This should be the default, the way the screen looks, but I'll show you how you can change it as well. I'm going to start with our settings option up here. So we'll touch on this in a sec, but let's go to our email footer first. And I've got mine set up in the system already. So I pretty much have put what my work signature is into my sandpit, because I want it to kind of match when I'm sending things out of the system. So I'll just push this down a little bit so we can play here. So pretty much, guys, you can, put your name here, okay? You could put your role, okay? And you could put your research office details here, email below. We start to play with it a little bit if you want to format. So if you wanted to, for example, maybe change the color of your text if you have a preference. So this little teardrop here, or little raindrop, that's your colors. So if I've highlighted my name here, that's what I'm going to change the text color. I just click on the little drop there. And what you can see here, you've got some options to use. You can make your signature colorful if you want. What we can see here, the wording text is gold. That means you're going to change the color of the text. If you want to change the background color, so if you want to have your text sitting on top of a block of color, it has to be gold for you to show that you've selected it. So that's how you can tell if you're going to change the text or if you're going to change the background color. So I'll change the background color. I'll just say, look, I'm going to do red background. Okay, so the red backgrounds come up. And if I want to change the text color again, just make sure I've got the text as gold. And I'll go Christmas here, we'll make it white. So you can play with that if that's something you want to do. If you want to, you've got your basics here. You've got your bold, you've got your italic, your little underline there. Got some alignment if you wanted, for any reason you don't like it left, you want it maybe to the right, you can use alignments, whatever you prefer. You want to center it, you want it to the far left. We've even got ordered lists, so you've got a lot of options to format here. If, for example, you want to put a link into maybe your research office's website, you could do that here. So I'll just highlight that. So we just want to make sure we highlight it so we can add that. We've got our little insert link option, so a little link there. Okay, and you just copy and paste your link in there. Open a new tab, it should do that anyway. Once you insert it, when you do send an email, it's a valid link. So you can't look at it from here, but when you do send the email, if someone were to click on that link that you've sent from the system, it'll open the website for them. So you've got those kind of options. If you want to insert, like I've got like a little image here. So if you've got a work logo, or you've got like, your little TAS Health or New South Wales Health you want to throw in there, or Rural Rehab little logo in there, nice and easy. We've got a little picture here. This is your insert image option. Okay, if you had it on your desktop, you could click drag and drop. So I've got one on my desktop, so I can click drag drop. You can just click on that space and it'll open up a little option for you as well. So a couple of things in here again. So you can kind of change it, you can align it. So I've got mine in the center. I don't like that. I'll have it to the left so it kind of sits under my signature. So you're just playing with the alignments there. I kind of keep it really simple. I want it to sit under my signature. I just keep it like that. You could have a link. So if someone were to click on the image, it'll open up a website, maybe your work website or your office's website. Once you do have it set up the way you like it, hit save at the bottom of the page here. That'll save your signature in the system. You just want to make sure you hit the save just at the bottom there, just so the system recognizes that you've made any changes. It's going to save your signature in there. If you want to change your password, you don't like your password anymore, Change password is just above. You'll have to enter obviously your current password, put your new passwords, hit save, it updates straight away. So settings is where you're going to see a bit of a difference. So this is our default setting, and this is what I mean by that is the menu options being on the left-hand side. We'll go through these in a moment, but you can see that they're sitting on the left-hand side of the screen. I've got a little infinity icon just in the top left-hand corner here. I've got some icons up here to the right. This is the classic setup for vertical menu style. Okay, that's your default. If you want to go to, say, classic, hit save, and you're going to see this changes everything in the system setup-wise for you, just how you view it. So you can see straight away, I've lost all my left-hand menu options. They're not lost, they're just hidden. Okay, so my cog that was up here, it's not here anymore. It's all now sitting in this infinity icon. So if you like kind of hidden and clean, this might be the option for you. Okay, and this is where it's all going to sit now. So you'll have everything that was sitting in the left-hand menu is now here. You've got some options here that we saw in the right-hand corner of the screen at the top. They're now just to the left of the screen here. And if you've recently accessed any applications or projects in the system, which I'll touch on a little bit later, they'll be here. So you can kind of go back to them. The benefit of this option is you can actually rearrange your menu options how you like them. So you can see I've got different sizes. Okay, so this little arrow, when I'm hovering over it, if I click on that, it will make it tiny. If I want to make it big again, the arrow, I just hover over it again, I click it twice. So once it makes it really big like that. Once more, it'll make it a square, and then we go back to, again, one. I'll just show you, you can click, drag it, okay, so you can rearrange. So if you like visiting your home page is your very first page you go to, and then say applications is your second frequently visited page, you know, projects would be next, you can rearrange this. So that's a good benefit, I think, of this one. If that's something you would like to do, you can absolutely do that. Now I'm getting a little OCD here and I'm trying to match it all up. I'll leave it in a second, I promise. So that is all the options there, just to kind of show you. You can also see when I'm hovering over them, you're getting a little bit of information about what each tile is. So meetings, it's pretty straightforward. It's how you can create meetings, schedule meetings. We've got projects at the top here. They're too small to pop up the information, but contacts, that's something you can use to view contacts. So again, just showing you a little bit of information as you go over them. And I'll just show you again, it's just classic view. If that's something you want to update your style to, you can do whatever you like. Dashboard themes, you can make it dark or light. I personally wouldn't change my default landing page. This is when you log into the system, it'll take you to your homepage with all your homepage tiles. I think that's probably the best place for you guys to actually land when you log into the system. I'm just going to go back now to vertical view because again, that's the way I like to look at it. And it is your default when you're new in the system. And we're going to go through all the menu options that were on the left-hand menu. Okay, so I'm just going to start from the homepage. And as you can see, when I do go to the left-hand menu, just hovering over that left-hand menu, it pops out the options a bit more so I can see what the wording is there as well. So I'm just going to go to the home page and we're going to work our way down. So homepage, we're very familiar with that. That's what we created yesterday, really. All our homepage tiles are on our homepage. And this is your default landing page. This is why I recommend leaving it as is. Next is calendars. Calendars aren't really utilized in the system, guys, so I wouldn't worry about this, to be completely honest. It can show you if you're maybe assigned to something. Next is dashboards. Dashboards is something I think would be really useful for when you guys have a bit more experience in the system to have a run through with Patrick or Raul, because dashboards are really good at helping you understand what's going on in the system, say for your head of departments. So you can see if there's any current head of departments in the system that perhaps need updating. But pretty much dashboards provide you with data related to your LHD or affiliated health organization, information regarding metrics that perhaps are in the system as well. So it's a really useful tool assisting you guys with monitoring your data. You can also export the data. And that's my little export option here, and you can go to a PDF, you know, Excel spreadsheet or such. Just below that, we've got applications. So applications in the system, that is your site application that is submitted. So it's all pre-authorization. When I hover over certain options, you'll see I have more sidebar menu options. So application, I can go straight to searching for an application, but what we'll do, we'll just go straight into applications using the header here. So the screen that I'm on, I've just clicked on the application. It's taken me directly to this kind of overview here. So we have the option from in here that we have here. So we have the option to search and etc. So we can search for applications. We can actually create and manage reviews. But again, this is ethics specific. You wouldn't be using that. So you can kind of ignore that. So search for applications. You could process decisions. I don't think you should have that option, but I could be wrong. It's not something I would use for you guys. I'll touch on this applications assigned to me when we look at an application, because I'll show you how you can actually assign an application to yourself. That might be useful when you're perhaps working on a particular application that's under your review and you want to kind of go back and forth to it. You can kind of bookmark it and it will sit here. So I'll show you that when we go into an application. Recent applications is anything you've recently accessed. So you'll always have a list there. So when you start, it'll be 0. But when you start to work on applications, this is also a good way if you're working on applications, someone calls you, you have to kind of move around, you can come back and then it should be in your 10 applications you recently accessed here. So you can kind of jump back into it. So you just click on it, it takes you directly to the application. So just for searching for applications, I'll show you what that is. So we just click on that. You've got some filters, they're hidden at the moment. So we've got this little double arrow in a bubble in the top left-hand corner. We click on that to expand it, and you've got some filters. We've got 15 filters here we can use. So for example, if you wanted to search for only site applications, we've got the program. We're using that a lot in our application tiles yesterday. So program, okay, click drag drop, and you can keep adding more. So for example, if I wanted to say with a particular classification, so studies have classifications in the system, they get selected. So again, click drag drop. So I'll click on program. I'll say, look, I'm looking for a site application with a particular classification. So I've just clicked in the bar of that classification and it opens up on the side there for me. Maybe you're after a particular clinical trial phase. You could say, look, I'm looking for all site applications that are phase 3. Maybe you're looking for all phase 3 device studies. Okay, let's see how many we have here. And once you've added however many classifications or whatever search filters you're using, just the tick at the bottom, okay, and we'll hit find. I'll see how many we've got in here. We've got a few, a lot by me. So this will pull up specifically those types of studies you're looking for. You can further filter by the status, because obviously we've got authorized, we've got stuff that's in progress. So we've got pre and post authorization studies. So if you want to further filter it, you could say, look, you're only looking for ones in a particular status. So click drag drop. Maybe I'm only looking for ones that are submitted. So they've just come into the office. You can use this however you like. This is just an option you have in the system. Okay, so I've really filtered it down again using the status there. So if I clear this, so if you were using perhaps just in here, you have further ability to filter. So you could say, look, there are some authorized, maybe there's some still in progress being reviewed. This is where you'd further filter it. You can't do that up here. You've got to you've got to understand what you're looking at. So if you're very new in the system, this is probably easier for you to search. And just to remove any filters, we've got little red X's just to the right of the screen. We just click on those and they pop back over into the available filters. Okay, and we can kind of start fresh there. Reviews and meetings, you won't use those. So reviews and meetings are very ethics specific, because currently ethics use the reviews to assign reviewers to ethics applications. Meetings, they have HREC meetings created in the system. So I won't go through them because they're not relevant to you guys. You don't need to soak that in. Reviews and meetings, currently very ethics specific in the system. At the moment, they're not going to really impact you at all. So applications we're currently in, that's pre-authorization, so that's going through the review process. Projects is when the study is authorized. So projects are generated when studies are authorized. Very similar options we're going to have a look at here. So I'll just click on it so we can pop into it. It looks like the same screen we were on in regards to the application. We've got our recent projects we've now opened. We've got no projects assigned to ourselves, but that's what that assign me option would be, like a little bookmark. And we can search as well. So I'll click on it. It's exactly what we've just looked at, you know, but it's showing you everything that would be already authorized in the system. So you've got one more filter here, but it's very, very similar. So you can look at projects with certain classifications. You can see who the owner is if you're looking for studies with, you know, that are all under Joe Smith. You can pull all the studies that Joe Smith is either associated or the owner of. You can look year-wise, statuses, all that. So it's exactly what we looked at for applications, but that's pre-authorization. This is now post-authorization. Approvals, a little bit different. So approvals is our little gavel icon there. Anytime you kind of pop into one of these side menus and you see the bubble here with the little arrows pointing to the right, that means it's hiding something. So it's probably hiding some filters. So we just click on that to expand, and we've got some filters here. So what approvals could be, you could look by decision type. So click, drag and drop. So if you're looking for all amendments, so all RGO amendment reviews, the outcome, maybe you want to see click, drag, drop. You want to see all amendments. Let's go RGO. Let's just go, let's just say RGO review of a progress report. Let's go with that one instead. And we can see how many have been approved. Again, these are more kind of, a bit more if you want to kind of see how many bulk decisions have been made or approvals have been made in the system. I wouldn't use it to manage your workload. You want to use your homepage tiles. You can also export this information if you wanted to. You've got a little export to Excel here as well. What this is here, it's a little box with like kind of 3 little lines as well. That'll actually let you kind of customize what you're seeing here. So if you didn't want to see, for example, predecessor, so I'll just go to, and I'll remove it by clicking on the tick, okay? You can kind of customize what you're looking at. You don't have to have, maybe you don't want notes in there as well, so this column, okay? So you can just customize what you want to see. This is defaulted, so, you know, you can resetting the layout should pull it all back. So we've got those. So you can always reset it back to the default layout if you want as well. But this is available throughout the system, the choose columns option. Below that is contacts. So contacts is something, again, that is quite useful. As you can see, I've gone through your access here to have a look. So you can look up certain contacts. If you've recently looked at contacts, and it's not just a person, it can be an organization. And I'll just show you if we click search for contact. And again, little hidden here, so I'm just going to expand the filters. So we've got organizations, we've got persons, positions, and units. Say, for example, you're looking for a specific position. So maybe we're looking for someone that's in emergency. Okay, and these are our directors of emergency that we can kind of go, okay, this is the person that's currently listed in the system associated to this particular position. You can look up, you know, units, and these are all the units that have emergency within that wording there as well. And again, if you wanted to look up people because they're saying, hey, so-and-so actually, you know, isn't pulling through, you can actually look up the person's name. So for example, I'd click on my name, and you can actually from here look at positions. And this will let me know if this person has actually been assigned as a head of department to anything or a divisional director to anything. So this is a really good way to kind of utilize contacts as well. Personal details. If you do search for yourself, you can pull yourself up, click edit from the right hand side of the screen, all right, and you can put your image in there too if you wanted to have a little profile picture in the system. So it's really simple. You go select image and you can put your own, you know, profile photo or whatever you want in the system. Reporting. So we do have some reports in the system. So left hand side of the screen, we're just moving down. So these are some recent reports I've opened, but you can see that we've got a few reports pulling through here. You might not have all the same reports as me, and that's fine. This might be good in a way if I wanted to see how many milestones I had due this month. If I wanted to see maybe information regarding metric 4 or metric 3, you can pull those kind of reports from here as well. So just clicking on one just to show you what it looks like. And again, I pull a lot of data. You wouldn't be pulling as much data as me. Again, you are specifically only pulling data related to your organization. So this is pretty much what it is. There's 4 pages here. I can go through the pages just at the top of the screen here, just to have a look at the pages here. This is just showing me the statuses they're pending, what project they fall under, fantastic. And what you can do, a little page with a folded edge and a little floppy disk. This is where you export your information. If you wanted to download the information that's on the, the 4 pages as a PDF, XLS, whatever you want it, whatever format you like. PDF's easiest for me. I just like PDFs. This will just be converted to a PDF for you, and you can download it and you can have a look at it, save it, whatever you like. The information's here if you just want to use the system, you don't want to have to download 100 things. You don't have to, but you do have the option to export, printing, etc. Click on that. It's going to take you to the external portal. I'll go there a little bit later in the session, so I won't click on it now, but we will look at it. External portal is anyone that is not in the research office, they will use that. That's their REGIS. If for any reason you have any studies you wanted to commence, you'll be using the external portal then. Workflows, you shouldn't have that forms. And again, we've got our two little arrows. Expand that and you can pull certain forms from the systems to see how many were submitted this week. So tags is a good option. So forms that are created in REGIS will have automatic tags associated with them. Click, drag, drop. And what I mean by tags, when people add tags in the system, please don't do that. What I'm more looking at is, for example, so say I'm looking for a general amendment tags are going to come through. If I want to say, look, I'm looking for all the general amendments in the status of approved, how many have been approved, and you could even filter by the date. So let's see how many. So click, drag, drop between this date and that date. Let's see if anyone's been pretty active in the system. This is our training environment, so we'll have a look. I'm just going to give it let's give it a week. Okay, let's see. There's none, of course. All right, let's clear that. Let's see. Okay, so we've got 78 amendments that have been approved in the system at this point. This is what I meant by the tag. So the system, when a form is created, so an amendment form, it's submitted. The form creates in the system and it automatically gets a little tag. So it's really nice and easy for you guys from the research office to see when you're processing it, what you're looking at as well. This is a little export. So if you needed to, for any reason, report this to someone, you could export it and you could pull your data out like that as well. Just below that is system settings. Again, you wouldn't be using this, and your little log out here logs you out of the system. So that's really nice and straightforward. That's pretty much just an overview of all our little left-hand menu options here. What I want to look at next is I'm going to go into an application and we're going to have a look at understanding what the contacts are on the page, what falls under an organization, who the owner is, editor, and we'll look at classifications as well. So we'll have a good look at that. I've got an application I want to show you guys, so I'm just going to quickly navigate back to applications from the left-hand menu because I know I recently accessed it. And it's going to be my top one because I had a look at it just before the session. When I click on anything from my recent applications, it takes me directly to the overview page. What we can see at the top of the screen here is a metric 4 breakdown. Metrics, again, is something I will send around the metrics manual we have, so you can have a read of that in your own time. So you've got a breakdown as well. You've got the how many information requests day-wise it's been there. How many days in status, so it's been in a certain status this many days. So head of department or divisional director, how long it's been with them, how long it's been with you as the research office, how long it's been with the researcher, how long it's been with your CE, and total days. So this is the average for the LHD, the local health district. So currently, Tassie, we've got a New South Wales average here. I'm not 100% sure if that's going to be updated. I would have to just touch base with the team to see what that will show for you guys, but currently it is a New South Wales average. It's a quarter average as well, so it's just got our previous quarter's information there. The metrics are reported and available on the OHMR website for those that are interested, and actually see previous quarter data. There's no confidential information in that. It is available for everyone to have a look at. So this is the overview page. So when you're clicking on an application from your homepage tile, you get taken to this page, the summary page. So when you click on it and you've searched here in the applications, you get taken to that overview. But if you click on it from your homepage tile, this is the page you're going to get taken to. It goes to your summary. So this is it's what it says. It's a basic summary of the study. So we've got the title, we've got the review pathway. So this one's a greater than low risk. I can see that ethics has been approved. So when ethics is approved in the system and it's recognized in the system, any site application created in REGIS will have this tag automatically created. We've got the little PID at the top there, guys. The PID actually takes you to the project registration. It's not necessary for you to really go and delve into that. You don't have to. The project registration is how you register a study in REGIS first. From there, you indicate if you have ethics or sites to be generated in the system. So your project registration is the parent document. From there, you have your little children, which is your ethics and site application. And again, just below that, again, some basic details, the identifier, the study title, how many versions are in the system. So if, for example, you had sent a request for information and your researcher needs to amend something in the application form, it'll come back as 1.01 because they've changed something in the form. So it's a new version of the form. It'll go until however many changes are necessary. This is just one version. I pushed it through. I can see it is a site application. That's also evident just at the top here with the STE wording. The owner should be the person who is listed as the PI in the site application. Owners we'll talk about, that was fun. So if you hover over an owner, you can see a pop-up of their contact details here as well. So if you wanted to, send them an email, you can actually click on that. It'll open an Outlook email for you. If you want to give them a call and you've got that kind of set up in your computer, you can do that. And you can also use those options here. View will take you to their contact in the system. So what we had a look earlier with my little picture, it'll take you to their contact. So if you wanted to have a look at this particular person in the system for any reason, you can do that from here too. This study in particular doesn't have anyone that is a submitter, editor, or reviewer. Submitters is our new functionality in the system as of October 19th. That will allow anyone with a REGIS user account to be given delegation permissions to submit applications, amendments, etc. on behalf of the PI or CPI in the system. Right. They don't just get it, just an FYI, there's still overview from your PI. So the only way someone can get submit access is if the PI either approves it or the PI does it themselves. So they need to understand who is getting this particular access, because obviously submit access is an important step in the system. You're submitting things. So they still have to have that overview, understanding that this person on their study will be able to submit on their behalf. I highly recommend you guys not giving people submit access just as you want to. The only reason being, if you do it once, you're going to have to do it again and again and again, because that's going to be the expectation. And also you want the PI to know who is going to be having that submit access. So submitter means they can submit on behalf of the PI, so they can submit amendments, application, etc. An editor can get in there and put data in and such. They can't submit. Viewers, they can have a look. They can't edit anything. They can't put any data in. They can't do anything submit-wise. So that's your 3 levels of permissions besides your PI. So the principal organization is referring to the site. So this site is Bowral and District Hospital. So your principal organization is referring to, in our instance, the site. We do pull the CPI details here because when completing the project registration, it is a requirement to list who the CPI is, and that data is saved in the system, and that's where you see it here. Again, you've got their details too. If you wanted to, for any reason, you needed to contact them, you can utilize these options here. If they've got some details you want to see in their contact, you can do so too. Approval date, so that's just when this, I I want to say that's fine because I have gone and played with some expiry dates recently. I do know that it shows 1 day after. It should be fine because I have gone into Sandpit and I have been playing with some expiry dates so I could make stuff for myself. It makes sense to me. Realistically, obviously the expiry date should be longer than that. So let's just pretend that's right. This is a good tip. If you guys have gone into an application and you don't want to have to go and download all the documents, download the documents, go to related documents, which we'll do in the tomorrow, you can quickly view the application on the page. So if you want to have a look at that SSA or that site application, you've got the application here. See how it's got a little pop out there? We just click on it and it's going to open up on the page for us. So this is a really good tip if you're just wanting to quickly look at something on the screen here. And it's the form. It's the site application form. Okay, we can't edit it. It's just showing us the form on the page so we don't have to go and download it if we don't want to. If you want a quick look, someone's called you, you go and have a look. Part A, it's got these details. We'll go through this in better detail tomorrow. Part B, site teams, it's got the PI details here. You keep going through. This is where your head of departments are. Part F is where all the documents are. So realistically, you can also just download the documents from here if you wanted to, if you needed to open something. You can just click on the gold hyperlinks here. It'll download at the bottom of your page and you can open it up, and we'll just close this. So that's the basic overview of this summary page. What I want to show you is the contacts as well, because the contacts will show you who's directly related to the application you're currently in. This confuses some people, so I won't lie. So I want to try and make it really nice and clear for you guys. So currently we're in details. So I just go to management to expand it. And you've got some options here. Okay. We'll be going through these more detail tomorrow moving forward, so I won't go crazy with them, but we'll go to contacts, and what you're going to see here is all of the contacts associated with this study. And because ethics exists in REGIS and I've got related sites in the system, I've got a lot of data here. The easiest way to kind of read this data is you just wanting to see who is directly related to the application you're looking at. You don't want to see everything else at the moment. You just want to see who the PI is. Are there any admin contacts? So I'm just going to go page all. Wanted to click that, doesn't let me click that. So you've got the principal investigator listed a few times here. It's probably a bit confusing. The easiest way I can tell you to look at the contacts here is by looking at the relationship column and seeing what column is blank. So that blank, it's got no data in there. That means they're directly related to the application you're in. So this PI is for this study. This PI is the PI for STE 135. It's the other related site application. It's not this study we're in. Going down, the CPI details, they do directly relate to the application because they're listed in the form, the application form. So you've got your PI, your CPI. I've got an associate investigator I can see here that is part of this study. So they're listed in the site application. Let's see, that's all we've got at the moment. So we've got 3 contacts at the moment. So we've got our PI, we've got the CPI who's listed in my application form, and I've also got an associate investigator for this study listed. So all of these other inherited options here, that's just showing me that these are in related applications because this site application has a few other sites associated with it. So maybe I've got a site at Liverpool Hospital as well. Maybe I've got one at Westmead Hospital. That's what all these other related relationships are. They're just showing me that they're coming from the other site applications associated with this study. The biggest takeaway from contacts, guys, look for blank. That's who's going to be related to that application you're looking at. So when you look at an application or a project, they look very, very similar. Difference is one's pre-authorization, one's authorized. Little couple of things you can see here. So you can actually click on these. So again, if you have a phone number and you've got the soft phone in your, your laptop or whatever you want to call it, you can click on that. It can probably operate it for you. Email, if you want to send an email, again, you can click. We can also send an email here, and I'll just show you what this one does rather than this one. Okay, this will send it from the system. If you click on the email here, under email, it will send it via Outlook. If you use the email icon, it'll save in the system what you've sent. It's really generic. It's just showing it who it's from, who they're going to reply to. You put your own subject, you put your own email in there. Let's see if we've got our email footer set up like we did at the beginning of the session, guys. This is where you can utilize it too. Using this versus this will save in the system. So it'll save in the related documents once you've sent it. So you've got that kind of, if you need to have it saved in the system, it's something specific from the system, you can do that. If you are wanting to send a request for information, do not use this option, because you have to be mindful. If you are sending correspondence from the system, you want it recognized that it's not with your office, it's with the researcher now. So when we go through the sessions on day 4, I'll show you how to correctly request information, because you want to show what's in your hands and when it's out of your hands. The little I is just the contact information again. So again, you've got some repetitive icons and information around. They're just on different pages. So you'll see that a little bit in the system there as well. Just scrolling up, I'm going to go to classifications. So that's something we looked at a little bit earlier when we were using our search filters. So classifications, going to show you all the classifications that are related to this particular application. Classifications could be, as we can see, the category of research. If it's a clinical trial, we've got some clinical trial specific information here. Okay, so you can see all that data here. Is it part of NMA, National Mutual Acceptance? Yes. Risk category, so if there's a risk category associated with it, this is where you're going to find all that detail. The review pathway is here. And I'll just put all mine onto one page. And the study type and commercial, if there's a sponsor type, they're going to be all on this page here. If for any reason someone has submitted you a study and it's got the wrong review pathway, you shouldn't see this issue. But I just want to show you, for any reason, if you needed to update anything in here, you do have the ability to do so. Being new in the system, you shouldn't see this issue. This was more migrated data issues that we would have seen, some, data that was incorrect. If you need to update data in here, we select edit from the right-hand corner. The wording is fun. Add classification. We don't delete. We can just add classification, and we can just update it by clicking on the correct option. Okay, so if I meant to have a clinical trial agreement, not other non-standard, it's supposed to actually be, CTRA. We just click on that and we hit apply. Okay, and we've got to save. Again, our favorite icon, everyone, the floppy disk. So we hit save, and it's going to update. Where is it on the page? So it is updated. I'm so blind. Here it is. So clinical trial agreement has updated to CTRA. So it was other non-standard. I've updated it because that data was incorrect, and I've saved it. I don't feel like you guys would have to really edit any classifications. This is more when we were seeing migrated studies back in the day come into the system. With manual data provided, there were obviously room for manual, need to update issues. I don't think you need to do it, but I wanted to show you because it's an option. And it's there in the system for you. So timeline, I'll show you that. Timeline's just pretty much showing you the application, how it's gone from submitted, how it's gone to the research office, how it's gone for an information request, etc. So that's just a kind of timeline. I'll just scroll down just to show you. I've shared it with a few people, so it's a very kind of detailed timeline here. It's there if you need it. You probably don't really need to look at it, but it's there. Classifications we had a look at. If it's a clinical trial, you'll see the first patient enrollment data here. Let's see if I was good and completed it. I haven't probably, nope. It's a milestone. I haven't completed it. The data isn't here. Comments. So comments are over here as well to the right of the screen. You've just got two options you can use. Comments are possibly if you work with someone, maybe you job share, and you want to put a comment to say, study not ready to be authorized, waiting for, ABC document. So it's one of those tools you can just use to pop a comment in. So comment here, we just add it. So we have to be in edit mode as well, guys. You won't have that if you're not in edit mode. There's a comment there. If I want to reply to this as someone else in the research office, I can just hit reply and reply here. So you can see a reply has come through with a little blue. We just expand it. So if you job share, or perhaps you're looking after a particular study and you just need someone else to have a look while you go on leave, you can put some comments here if you're not in the office together and you just need to really easily communicate you're in the system already. You can remove them just using the little delete icon. Yep, happy to delete that. Okay, same for that one, and there's no more comments there. Exact same functionality here. I'll just click on that. It's just pop out on the side of the screen. So if you're on a different page and you don't want to have to navigate into comments, you've got a quick access to comments to put it in. We can just close it using a little X at the top there. If you wanted to pin it to the screen, you can also pin it. So when you move around, I don't really pin anything to my screen. I kind of just go through it as I need to, but that's an option. Context we had a look at. Decisions and eligibility we will look at. So I'll keep that nice and hidden from you for the moment because it's a little bit to go through and I want to work through it. Groups you're not going to go through. History. History is very complicated, guys. I don't recommend worrying yourself too much about the history. It's more technical. So for example, I'll just kind of expand on something. It's got numbers here that make sense to me. Don't worry about this. Timeline, if you want to see what's happened in the system, is a very easier way to look. History is more for the technical side of the team to have a look at if there's any issues and they want to see it's a log. Think of it as a log. Meetings you won't access because meetings are HREC specific at the moment. So ethics, related documents we'll quickly look at. I'm not going to go in detail with it because I don't want to overwhelm you, and we will be looking at that tomorrow. But related documents is anything that's been submitted with the application and anything that has possibly been shared from another application authorized in the system if anything needed to be shared. So that's where you'll see all of the documents in the system here. I'll touch on this all tomorrow because there's a little bit to go through, so we won't worry about it. You won't see these symbols when we're not in edit mode. Related forms, more realistically, you'll be looking at related forms if we had amendments because they come through as a form. So you're not going to see anything here in an application, which is fine. That's normal. Reviews, that's ethics specific. Status will just show you any statuses this study has had. So again, my study, I authorized it pretty quickly in Sandpit, so it was in progress. It then got submitted to the research office. Obviously, I bypassed the head of department because I wanted to get this authorized for training, and authorized. Realistically, you're going to be seeing in progress, submitted, in progress, pending head of department, submitted. You're going to have all the statuses it has hit in the system. We can have a look at that as well when we request information. Tasks you're not going to look at, and versions is just how many versions of the application has been through the system. So again, if a request for information has come through and back to you guys, and there's been a change to the application form, you'll see version 1.01, 1.02, etc. This is where all of the versions will live. Just touching on the right side of the screen, so assigned to me, that's something we talked about a little bit earlier. That is, think of it as bookmarking the application for yourself. So if you want to come back to this, you want to work on it, it's your study you're reviewing, you just click on that. Okay, it's gone yellow for you. It'll only go yellow for you, just an FYI. I'm going to now navigate back to summary because I want to show you what it does on the front page as well. So I'm going back to details and I'm going to click on summary. And I can see that I'm the responsible user for this study now. So it's been assigned to me. And anytime I want to find this really nice and easy, go to applications from the left-hand menu, and it's here. So that just gives you a quick access to it. So if it's something you're currently reviewing, you want to have that nice and easy for you to go to and access it. You just click on that, takes you back into the study. So really nice and quick way to get back to it. Comments we looked at. Something else, sorry, I'll go back to applications because I want to show you how you can get rid of it from there as well. So you have the option to just kind of hit the little X here and it will unassign it. Okay, so we'll go back to the study now. It unassigns it from there. Same option here, guys. If you just want to click on the star again, it will take you away from being the responsible user. So you're not responsible for it anymore. The reason it's looking a little bit different too, guys, I jumped out of the study, it'll automatically unlock it, meaning it's not in edit mode. So when you go back into it, and if you need to edit again, you have to click the edit icon, just an FYI. You'll get used to that when we go through decisions and such, because we need to make it editable. Eligibility is what we're going to do tomorrow. It's where you complete the eligibility review. If the study has been authorized, you'll have this option. This isn't pending an acknowledgement, just an FYI. If I click on that, it just wants me to click on one of the little flags here. We'll touch on that on day 4. So I won't go too crazy, but that's fine. You shouldn't have this option, I'm pretty sure. If you have it, don't use it. It doesn't do anything for you. When the study has been authorized, you have a project created. So if the study has not been authorized, you won't see this. Okay, but this is a really quick way for you to navigate to the project. You click on that green monitor, you're taken to the project. So the project is very, very similar to everything we've just looked at. It's just showing me the study's authorized, and it's got what we can see here. You don't have copy option, guys. We shouldn't have the change identifier option, but we've got the comments, we've got the assign to me, edit, and we've had the option to go back to our application. So contacts are the same there, they look the same, related documents look the same, decisions look the same. It's just showing you you're working on a project now, meaning you're working most likely on amendments, safety notification, or a milestone. So same, but different. I think we've touched on this, but I'll touch on it again. We're going to have a look at the external portal in a sec, but the internal portal, I'll refer to it throughout training, so hopefully I don't confuse you too much. Internal portal is what the research office uses. External portal is what everyone else who is not a research office team member will use. So I'll refer to it a few times throughout sessions. If it gets confusing, just let me know. It's very just ingrained in my mind. To access the external portal when we are in the research office shoes, which we are now, it's just the REGIS white cloud with the blue background here. And that, if we click on that, so that was just the REGIS cloud from the left-hand menu. It'll take us directly to the external portal. So what we can see on this page, really kind of straightforward, it's the researcher landing page. So this is what the researcher sees. They may not have any approvals in here. They may not have decision review meetings. That is based on their roles. So realistically, if a researcher is just submitting studies, they're not, they're not a reviewer, they're not a HREC member, they're not a C or a head of department. Realistically, they're only going to have the project little tile here in their activities, and they're only going to have dashboard and projects. Dashboards just provides basic data for them. It's nothing crazy. We won't go through it. It's not going to affect you guys. We've got little notifications. If they had any notifications, it'll pop up there. The help icons are very good for the external portal at the moment. It will change based on the page you're on when it's at the top of the screen. So it's relevant to the page you're on. It provides information for that. This is how they access their profile. This is just some updates we have where we're going to try and make sure we can communicate things really nice and easily to our users. Top 5 projects. So it's kind of similar to what you guys see if you click applications or projects from the left-hand menu and you've recently accessed anything. This is the same theory there. So if your researcher has worked on a study recently, it's going to be in their top 5 projects. It's a rotating list. If they only have 5 studies in the system, they're all going to be there. Create a form is for project registration only. So that's their first step in creating studies in the system. So that takes them really nice and easily into the project registration form. Milestones had a nice update not too long ago. If you click on any of the milestones, it takes you directly into the milestone, which I think is really convenient. I like less clicks. And we've got the identifiers there now as well. Activities again relates to anything that your researcher might be allocated. So if they're a reviewer, which you probably won't see, they might have reviews in here or approvals if they're a head of department as well. They'll have that in activity. So again, it's very much based on their role in the system.